Thank you. Our first speaker is Hansen Clarke, former U.S. Congressman from Michigan State and also former Michigan State House of Representative Senate.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm born and raised in Detroit. I became known as an advocate for people who needed help. Many youth are at risk in Detroit, at risk of dropping out of school, committing crimes, ending up in prison. So that was my work throughout my life. But when Dr. Ahmed asked me to get involved with Distressed Children International, I thought about it and I said, well, you know, I think I'm interested. And here's why. My father's family live in Bangladesh. My dad was from Bangladesh. It was then India when he was born 100 years ago. And I visited Bangladesh. I walked the streets of Dhaka and I actually saw those kids begging for money. Many of them they couldn't see. They couldn't stand. So I said, yeah, you know, I'd get involved with this. But it was only from that only remote connection. But then I had a chance to talk to Dr. Hawk and see the work that was done here. And then last night to talk extensively to Dr. DeBroff. And here's my message to you today, is that we need to recruit more people, more sponsors for the Sun Child Sponsorship Program. And here's why. Dr. Hawk said it. Yes, it benefits those children in Bangladesh who desperately need help. But you know what also is going to help? It's going to help us. It's going to develop a new generation of great leaders here in this country. Now, we have a lot of leaders. We have institutions like Yale that actually train people with the technical skills and the analytical ability to actually lead and run organizations. But that's not what I'm talking about. We need people to understand that being a leader involves serving, not serving yourself like many politicians in this country do. And if I can drop a footnote as someone that used to run for office, if you look at the polls of the 2016 presidential election, it's disturbing. It appears that we're rewarding people who are arrogant, selfish, and greedy. That's not what leadership is all about. Leadership is about serving others. The program, the Sun Child Sponsorship Program, is designed to do this. By having our youth see that they can raise money, $15 a month, and contribute it to the welfare of someone else, and ultimately be able to communicate and maybe see that child in Bangladesh, that reinforces in our own children and youth that the heart of leadership is service to others. That's what we actually need. Now, the last point I want to mention too is that DCI, in my opinion, from what I've heard and I've spoken directly to both of the founders, it not only is there to develop leadership in youth so they can be leaders in the future, it actually attracts those people who actually have the heart of a servant leader, and it develops that in us right now. Dr. Brian DeBroff, you heard about his amazing work in Bangladesh. Well, you know, he was very privileged to be raised by a very accomplished father and a loving mother. He didn't benefit from that family for long because at age 10, both of his parents died tragically in a plane crash. And many of you may not know that, but I want you to think about it. Being 10 years old, never seeing your parents again. He never received counseling, no support, anything like that. He just forged ahead with his life. And what I believe is that experience that he has gone through, that he goes through every day, that it forged in him an appreciation that life is precious, that every life is precious. That's why he can go to work and operate on the eyes of children to give them a chance of seeing when they'd likely live the rest of their lives blind. It's because of that commitment. That's what he brings to DCI, and that's what DCI can bring to all of us if we attract more people here. And then finally, we look at the life of Dr. Hawk. He actually said what he had to go through in life, but that didn't stop him. It actually motivated him to help others. And yes, the irony is so obvious. A man who, to this very day, he struggles. to maintain the vision that he has. But yet, it's his vision that allows us to see what distressed children around the world actually need. Now, when you see what the children are going through in Bangladesh, you see that they don't have any material assets. But what they don't need is a handout. And yes, their plight may be sad to most of us, but those kids, they don't need sympathy. What they need is very simple. They need a chance. They need a chance to learn as a student and not struggle as a slave. A chance to be able to sleep at night in a home and not out in the street. It's a chance to live the life that Dr. DeBroff and Dr. Hawk have lived their own selves, to be able to live a life to your fullest potential. That's what DCI is about. That's why we need to recruit more people to be sponsors. It will help us, we will have better leaders, but it'll also help give every child, every life, a chance to live to their God-given potential. Thank you so much for having me.